business. Are you starting the calls? Okay, it's being recorded. Are you starting the calls tonight and on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm planning to jump on just as I did
Okay.
today.
Okay, take
Okay.
care. Say
Have
hi
a
to
great
Deb.
conversation. Okay. Bye-bye.
So hello, Elizabeth. I'm Jane Susswein. I am the president of the Kaplan Center. I've been a member for a number of years and have been involved with the Reconstructionist movement for, since 1978 when we joined our synagogue. And Caitlin is our newest board member, almost newest board member, and has been fabulous. And just, it's just wonderful to have someone who is in touch with the younger generation and so enthusiastic about what we're doing. So tell us where you come from. What's your contact with the Kaplan Center and all of this?
I'm going to try to be brief. I'm an immigrant, right? I grew up in Belgium, mostly, and in France. So I came to America. I was already 30 some years old. When I grew up, she was born in Brazil because of the history of my family who escaped the Holocaust by, getting into one of the very last boats to live and ended up in Brazil. My connection to Judaism until I came to America was really one of sadness and the weight of the Holocaust. I mean, that's all I knew. It was, we're Jew, we persecuted, we lost everyone, and you should be careful because it could happen again. That is in a nutshell everything I knew about Judaism, which is to say that growing up, I was kind of a bit repulsed by that, to say the least. When I came to the US, I didn't come to the US to be in another city. I came to the US and pretty much lived in California and a lot in rural areas. And one of my early encounters was with a Mexican woman who was moving irrigation lines in a rural community called Fish Lake Valley. Actually, it's just, and I was a substitute teacher in that village. And her kids, of course, were Mexican, and I spoke some Spanish. I was helping the kids with language problem, with connecting with the parents. That's how I met Anna, and we kind of hit it off. And one day I'm in Anna's kitchen, and she asked me, "Where do you go to church?" And I said, "Well, I'm not going to church. I'm a Jew." And she literally jumped up and start circling around me, and then she said, "But you don't have a tail." No, I don't.
Oh,
Lord.
And she thought I was the devil because this is what she had been taught. Well, I didn't take it as a anti-Semitic statement because I thought it was just, being true to what she had been taught.
and learned, right.
Yeah.
So
She studied well.
so anyway, that we then, went back to making tortillas and drinking coffee. But the question stayed with me and matured in my head. What does it mean to say I'm a Jew? Because I really had no content for it except for the sadness I had mentioned. And then some years later, my career took me to Palo Alto, California. And there I joined, after a little bit of soul shopping, a Reconstructionist congregation, not because it was Reconstructionist, Kedem, but because I felt a connection with the people who were there. It was mostly an adult congregation. It was not one of those congregations that is centered around the bar and bat mitzvah of the kids. It was more of a place for me to ask questions and to learn. And so that was my introduction, that there is a way of being Jewish that doesn't put your intellect in a drawer. And the rest is kind of history. I remain connected to Kedem for, I don't know how many years now, 22 years, 23 years. Although lately, I'm back living in a very rural area of California, east side of the Sierra Nevada. I'm in Bishop, California, population total, probably 4,000 or 5,000. Number of Jews, pretty limited.
Are you still teaching?
I'm not teaching, no, and I was not teaching at Stanford either. I was the deputy director of research compliance.
Wow.
And here in Bishop, when the first year I got back, I mean, it's a place I knew from before, and I said, okay, I want to stay there, but I don't know anyone who's Jewish. But the person that had rented my home while I was in Palo Alto, her name was Jan Goldberg. So I said, well, I pick up the phone and I say, well, Jan, I don't want to assume anything, but
Right.
if you're interested in participating in a Seder, I'm putting one together. And that was the start of putting together a group that's now about 12 people, strongly connected. I proposed to that group to study Musar together, and we've been studying Musar together pretty much. We're now in our 4th year. When we have Jewish holidays, we celebrate together, and then we bring friends and friends of friends. And then so, there was like 20 plus people at the Seder table.
Wonderful.
So somehow, and this is the miracle of technology, I managed to stay in touch with not only the Jews that are here, but Kedem community in Palo Alto, and then Eschaim, which is a non-denominational synagogue over there, to which I'm also connected. So my Jewish life is actually pretty good. And was it last year or 2 years ago? I went to the conference.
Was that the music liturgy?
No, not the music. The Reconstructionist.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which was the second.
The one in Washington?
Yes, and it was the second one. I had gone to one 10 years prior. So this is in a nutshell. This is where I am in my Jewish life.
That's so wonderful. Have you navigated the website at all?
Yes, a lot. I've used Ritual Well in particular a lot, and then I'm contributing to Ritual Well also, poetry mostly.
Right.
I always go to your websites, to basically all the resources when if I'm putting together some ritual, or if I am even exploring a Musar question. Which, by the way, that's one of my big asks, is that there would be a more organized reference or even study groups within the Reconstructionist umbrella about Musar. So I would be really, really interested of having something, because I'm, as I say, I'm facilitating this Musar study group and this VAD, and I'm running out of material.
You know what I would suggest? Let me just say that the Kaplan Center and the Reconstructionist movement work closely together, but our Kaplan Center is a separate governance from college. There's a group called Evolve at the on the Reconstructing Judaism site, and they would be, I'm sure, Jacob Staub is a wonderful rabbi who's,
if you could email me those resources.
I certainly will.
Yeah, okay,
But,
one of you, that would be great, because I'm not set up right now.
Give me your email.
Caplun, CAPLUN at att.net.
Okay. About Musar. I'll make some inquiries and I'll get back to you on that.
And I've had these questions here and there for Mel, and not that I know him a lot, but I know who he is, and we had, on his Facebook page, about what would be Kaplan's attitude or thinking about the especially at his time, the traditional Musar thinkings of his time. I mean, I'm struggling with that, definitely.
Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, I just want to jump in, Elizabeth. I can certainly ask Mel, and I can actually also ask Eric, who is a professor at McGill for Jewish Studies, about what Musar would have looked like around Kaplan's time, because as far as I know, that was an emerging movement that many Jews were interested in. So if you'd like resources, I can.
And I think I don't know if it's Kaplan himself who did some translation of Metilat Yesharim or.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
I
Mel told me that via his father, there was a connection there. But
yes.
what I'm looking for is the person who is going to write the Musar compendium based on Kaplan's thinking. So if you guys know about
So you've had Musar resources and you want to see the Kaplanian connection.
I want to see the Kaplan side of things, especially the two big names in contemporary Musar here in America, Alan Morenis and Rabbi Stone. I just want to have because Kaplan is a slightly different idea of the divine than what transpired from Morenis and Stone.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of interested there.
I
Yeah.
would think that the habits of, I've studied Musar, but not with an eye to Kaplan, but it would seem, I don't remember anything in my Musar course that had a theological bent that was supernatural or anything like traditional Judaism. Am I wrong about that?
Well, when I started studying Musar with Greg Marcus, Greg is, or at least when he wrote that book, he really wrote it with the idea that, kind of God optional. And his book is very clear and a very wonderful way of kind of getting your feet wet with Musar. Then when you get to that, then you get to after that, I use Morini's book. Neither Morinis nor Ira Stone in their Musar work are really explaining the kind of theology that goes under their Musar thinking. Now, Ira Stone more than Morinis, certainly. I think Ira Stone, given his philosophical bent, he's certainly more inclined to do that. Mm-hmm. And I've taken classes with Ira Stone where he talks about it. But in terms of having resources and books and material and texts we can study as a group, I'm a bit at lost. I'm using,
Well, I'm happy to, I have a phone call actually, Caitlin, with Mel after this call. If you want to touch base with Eric, we will get back to you, Elizabeth.
That would be wonderful.
We'd be happy to do that. Now, in terms of the Kaplan Center website, it's different from the
so I don't go there as much as I go to the Reconstructionist website. And if you ask me why, I'm not sure if it's because when I do my searches, it doesn't come up.
Right.
It's possible it's the way
I'd love it if you could go on to this, when you have time. It's kaplancenter.org. I'm not sure if you do searches, it will come up. Caitlin is much more technically.
Yeah, you definitely have to be searching specifically Mordecai Kaplan's name for that to come up.
Exactly. And that's where I'm casting a broader net in some ways.
Right.
And I understand that.
And then the Kaplan Center is not captured there. So maybe if you have some technical people, ask them if by putting some other keywords attached to the Kaplan Center, it could come up when you do a search on Reconstructionist more broadly.
Have you attended any of the webinars that we've sponsored?
Yes, I receive all the emails.
Right.
So that's how I get informed.
Now, is there something, one of the things that we are we have Jeff Shine will be leaving the executive director position in a year, in July of 2024. And the board is committed to keeping the Kaplan Center alive in one form or another. And one of the ways that we are hoping to do this is by involving people like you who are capable and interested in fashioning a webinar or contributing in some way. Is that something, a Musar is something that we haven't dealt with in a webinar, and that with Kaplan, I think would you be willing to put a
I feel I don't have the expertise to do that. That's what I was asking, whether there were a source that of Kaplanian Musar thinking.
right.
But this is what I would love to study. So I can't really, I'm not a researcher. I don't have the background to do the text research that this would take.
All right. Well, we will get back to you with, I think both Eric and Mel would be the perfect sources to get. We'll get back to you as soon as.
And by the way, I did ask that question too on the reconstructionist side, and I didn't, maybe it's different now than when I asked it a couple of years ago, that I didn't get a sense of that there was a strong that Musar was mentioned or touched upon, but it was not a central.
Well, I will also contact Jacob Staub, who is the Evolve is his that's his baby on the Reconstructionist site. And all right, and if I'll see if he has some, and Richard Hirsch also.
I don't know that. I don't.
Yeah, Richard Hirsch is a Kaplanian scholar of great expertise, and so I will call. Okay, so Hirsch and Staub. All
Jane,
right.
Is it okay if I ask a question to Elizabeth?
Yes, I'm sorry. Sorry to have monopolized. Go on.
No, you're all right. Elizabeth, I'm just wondering, you touched on Musar in particular, and you touched a bit on how your Judaism changed in emigrating to America. I'm wondering in particular what experiences you've had either online through Reconstructing Judaism or through your congregations like Kedem that allowed you to experience Jewish joy, because it seemed like, as you talked about, your past was not colored by Jewish joy until quite recently.
Yeah, well, I think that my discovery of just going to services in a Reconstructionist setting. I mean, I don't know if you know Kedem, but you know Elaine Moyes.
Elaine and
Alan, she's a wonderful singer, and
Alan Markham also. Yeah.
And Alan Markham. Alan is a very, very good friend of mine. Actually, I'm going to see them, the Markhams, in a couple of days. So that's, I mean, I'd never been in a service before where I experienced that communion of voices. I like the fact that it's in Hebrew, because my Hebrew is not good enough to understand every word. So I'm not hung up into the stuff that would shock me. Right. If I understood it. So which to me is a blessing. So yeah, that was Kathleen, that was part of the joy, just to see that there is a way of experiencing this connection to Judaism without the weight of the Holocaust behind me, and then seeing it as a way of shaping the future, which is kind of why I got interested in Musar. It's the ethics, it's the connections to the other. It's a way of reflecting about all the contradictions and conflicts and that we have. So all of that to me is related to joy.
I read this is tangentially not related to Musar, but I read a book by Avram Borg recently. He was a member of the Knesset. He was head of the World Zionist Organization. I think his father was in the Knesset before him. And it's called The Holocaust is Over, We Must Rise from the Ashes. And he talks about the effect of Holocaust memory on the psyche of Jews, vis-a-vis the Mizrahi, vis-a-vis Palestinians. He said it creates an us-them mentality. And now that the Jews are driving Mercedes and accepting reparations, and the relationship with Germany is a very different one, the them becomes the Palestinians. And with this binary consciousness, it might be an interesting book for you.
Yeah, it would be. I'm just back from Israel and Palestine. I came back. I was there with a organization called Healing Across the Divides. And so we visited, it was a study tour, not a touristy tour.
Right.
And so we visited a lot of places in the West Bank and talked to a lot of Palestinian. That idea of we don't know what to do if we're not seeing ourselves as the victim.
Right. Right. You might.
Yeah, I would certainly enjoy that.
It's B-U-R-G. Not B-E.
So yeah, I completely, that's another question, it's like, if we were to look at this conflict today with Kaplanian eyes, what would we see?
Well, on April 23rd, we're having, it's at 1:00 Eastern time. So it would be what, 8?
It would be
10
10
o'clock your time.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a webinar on Kaplan and the New Zionism. So
yeah, the 23rd, I'm giving a talk to a East Coast congregation outside New York about this kind of moral conflicts that or contradictions that one encounters today in Israel and Palestine. So
all right, well, that ours will be online. Can you send us the video of yours? Is there?
Well, unfortunately, we decided with the rabbi of this congregation that because what I wanted was to kind of have a space to really talk about those contradictions and those conflicts that we may have. And we decided, or she decided, and I think I completely agree with her, that it would be better for her to keep it to the congregation so that there is not people from the outside looking in, meaning I can't even, invite my own friends.
Right.
And,
Yeah, it keeps it
but
vulnerable.
I think it makes, and I don't think it will be recorded because maybe people would be a little bit less. I don't know. That's not my decision. I don't really mind one way or the other, but if people prefer it not to be recorded, and I think we need
we
to
understand. What's the congregation?
It's the one, I think it's a non-denominational congregation in Woodstock, New York.
Oh, I know that was a Reconstructionist rabbi who was
and then
Jonathan Kligler was the rabbi there,
and then he left, right?
And Ira Eisenstein, Kaplan's son-in-law, was the rabbi there for a long time.
Oh, no kidding!
Yes,
that is so funny. So I knew there was some connection, but I got connected to them via a.
I don't think they're affiliated, but they have very strong Reconstructionist connections.
Perfect, because the questioning is really going to be at the core of this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Elizabeth, sorry, I can't.
No, I'm sorry too.
I have another question for Elizabeth, if that's okay.
Oh no, you can ask as many questions as you want.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you for your comment on Jewish joy and seeing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict with Kaplanian eyes. I think those are incredible comments. My question is, as we talk about the future of the Kaplan Center, one thing we've been proposing is having some sort of partnership or subsuming ourselves underneath Reconstructing Judaism in some way. Do you think that would make it easier for people like yourself to access resources when they need to, if they could go to, for example, the Reconstructing Judaism website or Ritual Well and find our resources instead of having to go to a separate website?
For me personally, it would be more of a one-stop shop, and that will be helpful to me. I don't I don't know what the politics are in the Reconstructionist movement and all the ups and downs that has happened in the past 10 years. And so I'm not taking a stand on that. I really
No,
don't.
that's a wonderful, Caitlin, that is a wonderful idea that we be one of the sites that can be clicked on. That is, that hasn't come up, and that is brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
for me, as I say, it would make my life easier,
Yes,
but I don't know that
absolutely.
it's a good enough reason.
No, that's absolutely, absolutely. So what took you to this tiny place that you're living in?
My love of the landscape. This is high desert. It's very beautiful. It's between the Sierra Nevada, the east side of the Sierra Nevada, and the west side of the White Mountains of California. It's as I said, if I wanted to live in a big city, I'll be back in Brussels, Paris. But I really, really love this this place where I live. I mean, why does a Jew from Western Europe has been falling in love with the high desert of Eastern California? Don't ask me, I don't know.
Well, and isn't it wonderful that there are technological avenues for you to be connected wherever
Yeah.
you want to be?
Definitely. So what's your you try, I mean, I Daniel passed away a few years ago. Jeff is going to retire. How do you see your future?
Well, that's one of the reasons that we're having these conversations, is to see what people value in what we're doing, and put our focus there. There are a number of and in the email that you saw, we have an amazing number of Kaplanian resources. We have an annotated bibliography that Mel has put together with everything that he knows by and about Caplun, and he's the one to know it. So that's a resource that we can keep amplifying. We have Kaplanian scholars who have offered their pieces, which is that doesn't take much administrative. We're trying to figure out what we can do given possibly fewer resources than we have now. We'll do some webinars. You can go onto the website. There have been some really wonderful ones. And so we're at this point brainstorming what we might do for the next year. And the Musar, I think a lot of people are involved in Musar. Musar and Kaplan might be a really interesting one. So, we'll call you once we get for at least perspectives on the sort of questions you'd like asked.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we could do that. And what else? I don't think we're prepared to launch the huge conferences that Dan did. I mean, it took not only a lot of financial resources, but a lot of the connections that he had that we might not. But we're all committed to, I think we all feel very strongly that Kaplan's agenda is not one that should be just in the history books. We had we conducted a Dan Cederbaum Prize for Educational Innovation, and you can go on the website and look at the descriptions we had. We offered 2 prizes, and we got so many applicants that we gave 2 main prizes and 14 subsidiary ones, because they were so wonderful. And they weren't all from the Reconstructionist movement, which was so encouraging. So I think that's our thinking and our conviction, that Kaplan's thinking, he's, the way I phrased it, is he a man of his times or a man for all seasons? And I think we feel that he's a man for all seasons. And so that's what we have a Talmud page where there's an issue and then commentary in the form of a Talmud, format of a Talmud page, where we have varying opinions.
See, I never saw that on the.
Go on to Kaplan. Don't, at this point, you can't get to us through the Reconstructing Judaism site. If you go to kaplancenter.org and explore, and get back to us, I'll send you our email. I'll send you all of our email. Thank you. Caitlin just put it in the chat. But if you could get back to us with your feedback once you see our site.
Okay.
I love your idea of having us be just one of the components of the Reconstructing Judaism site. That's really a fabulous suggestion. But take, when you have time to noodle around, see what we have. We have something called Kaplanian Voices. There's going to be an interview that Caplun did, which it should be up within a week. Maybe.
Yeah, Jeff was saying this week it will be posted.
That is amazing.
Who did
Amazing.
you interview, Caitlin?
I actually interviewed a friend of mine from one of the online yeshivas. So there's been a movement of online LGBT yeshivas that have been cropping up lately. I have a friend from Savara. Their name is Emmett, and we did an interview on their experience, both positive and negative, as a trans Jewish person. And those experiences that they've had that are both alienating, but also very affirming and empowering. Yeah.
And it's, it makes me feel so proud that this is a place, the Reconstructionist world is a place where these conversations can happen and are welcomed. Because they're not in a lot of other places.
And I have to say that when I went to the convention last year, whenever it was, and we had been talking among ourselves or within the movement about Jews of colors and LGBTQ, etc. And to see the new generation of
Amazing, isn't it?
and the students of rabbinic school embodying that leadership. It was just so wonderful for me, who's the older generation, to see that.
There's a video from the Reconstructing Judaism website of a group of African-American Reconstructionist leaders from all over the country who went to Alabama to the Equal Justice Museum. And we had just been there in January. It's extraordinary. It's Brian Stevenson's Equal Justice Initiative. And, I would love one of our seminars to be on what it is about Judaism that is attracting people of all different kinds of backgrounds. Because we have a lot in our...
So actually, there is quite a bit about that on the Reconstructionist website. So I think just to brainstorm that, but to this idea of having the Reconstructionist movement as an umbrella will also means that you can find the niches where you can really add value rather than duplication. I guess the flip side of that would be that the raising ability may or may not be as good. I don't know. But
well, yeah, that's
something to consider.
That's always an issue. But I think that's something that can be dealt with. But certainly we'd get, that of course would, and I hope that's not the sticking point. No,
I hope not eventually.
Right. But I think that's a way that that's something that we can approach the college with. We're working very closely with the RRA. They actually, the president of it said that they depend on us. So the curriculum of the college has changed. It used to be a civilizational one where they'd start with biblical and then they do maybe medieval and whatever, and then contemporary, but they don't have that approach anymore. So I think the extent to which Kaplan as such is taught is not quite as great. So, they're happy to have us be the repository.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to ask or offer?
No, I have to say that I'm surprised. I didn't realize it was going to be like this kind of one-on-one
No, we didn't either.
And I was thinking, I can hear from other people, what they're expecting, what the takes are, and
if you want to come on at 7,
a surprise here.
We're having another one at 7 tonight. You can. I think this is the same. It's the same website if you want. But we will be back to you. We will be back. We'll talk to Eric and Mel and Richard Hirsch and Jacob and find out about Musar and Kaplan and get back to you. This has been wonderful. Thank you
Thank you very much. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Jane. And
thank you.
Talk with you at another occasion, I hope.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. Take care. Caitlin, you want to stay on for a second?
Sure. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay.
That was great.
Yeah,
That was great. So actually, do you want to talk to Mel and Eric, and I'll talk to Richard and Jacob?
sure. Sounds
You
good
want
to
to do
me.
that?
Yeah.
All right. She was terrific.
Yeah.
It was really good. And if do you think, I think the fundraising might be maybe not though, maybe not. If we are a site on the Art Reconstructing Judaism website, that doesn't mean that the fundraising is going to be mixed. We could do our own fundraising.
Yeah, not necessarily. Like the logistics of it really depends on what we end up hammering out, right? But I do think, like, based on the input that we're getting, we would be able to expose our works to a wider audience if they're available on the RJ website,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that was so interesting.
Yeah.
That was really good. I hope I didn't crowd you out. I hope you felt that you had enough time.
No.
Just jump
Yeah.
in. Don't
Okay.
jump, so are you going to be on the one tonight?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that should really be good.
Oh, yeah.
James Green, and then Sid Schwartz, for him to, he's on, even if he's by himself. Sid, I've known Sid for a very long time.
Mhm.
Do you know anything about him?
Yes, he was on one of the webinars as a moderator.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, right.
Yeah.
And he gave a session, one of the study sessions on Shabbat at the convention about chosenness.
Yes.
Chosenness and tribes. It was a very it was good. So he also ran something called Panim, or Panim at Panim, where he brought high school students to meet with legislators it was a combination of study and meeting all of them. So I don't know what the holdup is on getting your interview in. I guess there's some technological things that I'm unaware of. But
yeah, there's just some quick editing that needs to be done.
Yeah, it was.
And then
really,
it'll be posted. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
oh my God, it was, you were just terrific. I went back to mine and I saw myself looking around. You were right on target. And that's one of the reasons that I didn't want to take notes during the session. I wanted to be kind of facing forward but so do you have ideas of some other Kaplanian? We're going to have the kids. I hope that happens soon. And we'll see.
Yeah.
But Musar, what are some ideas for webinars that Jeff had listed a whole bunch that he had 6 possibilities, but I think a lot of people are involved in Musar, and that might be an interesting one to do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will reach out to Jacob and Richard, and if you could do Mel and Eric, and then so do you have her? Did you take down her email?
Which you mind repeating?
Kaplun@att.net. And then copy Eric and me. Maybe copy the board on what you find out.
Okay. And just to confirm, is it B? Does it start with a B or a C is it Kaplan or?
Kaplun.
Okay, so it's Kaplan at att.net.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Yeah, I will do
nice.
that.
And I know Elaine Moyes. She's a singer, and I've also stayed at Alan Markham's house years and years ago. So, well, this was wonderful. Thank you for doing this, and I will see you at 7 tonight.
I will see you at 7 as well.
Is that 8 o'clock your time?
Yeah, that's 8 o'clock my time, Atlantic time. Yeah,
well, it's not that late. All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye, Jane.